JJ underscore 945 underscore. Hello there, Bill.
Hello, JJ. Yeah, this is an out of the usual stream and flight because I'm going to be helping. Um, oh, why do I have trouble remembering his name? Um, hold on, that's really bugging me. I keep forgetting his name.
SLSD11. Happy New Year, sir.
SLSD, thank you, and yourself. I don't recognise that name. Is this your first time watching my stream? Yeah, it's sorry, JJ. It's Deuce that I'm going to be flying with today. He's got the same stick as I have now, throttle and stick, and he also wants to try to spit. So the idea is for me to give some pointers regarding the spit and the spit and the stick. So I'm hoping that he will see that I'm
SLSD11.
streaming.
Not first time to watch, sir. I'm being watching on YT.
Oh, I see. Okay. It's the first. Is it your first comment though? Because I don't recognise the name SLSD. So is that the first time you've commented?
JJ underscore 945 underscore. Are nice, by the way, if I don't see you anymore, which I do think so. Happy New Year.
Yeah, and Happy New Year to you too, JJ. Let's hope that 24 holds some nice things in store for us. There's been plenty of not nice things in the past, so yeah, hopefully. I'm probably going to get blown away by 1i9s in a minute. Yeah, there's a couple of 109s knocking around, and they'll probably come homing on me, and I might have to I'll get blown to bits, and I'll just respawn. I'm really just waiting for Deuce to turn up. Hopefully he has notifications on that I'm streaming, so he will join us, and we can go into
JJ
the
underscore
ropes.
945 underscore. My guests are coming in less than half an hour, so I won't stay long.
Okay, well, it's nice that you're there. Nice that you popped in. Say Happy New Year, etc. Yeah, okay. Have an enjoyable time with your visitors, your guests. SLSD, by the way, whereabouts are you on the planet? What country are you hailing from? Can't believe those 109s haven't attacked me yet. They're bound to.
JJ underscore 945 underscore. I mean, I can still stay, but it's my birthday, so I can't stay too long.
Of course it is. Happy birthday. Happy birthday, sir. I'd forgotten that. My apologies. Have a good one. Yeah. Enjoy your day.
JJ underscore 945 underscore. No problem, thanks.
Those 109s are following the A20, but I wouldn't be surprised if a couple branch off and hammer me. That's what usually happens when I sit on the parking bay. I'm bound to get hammered. But really, I'm just kind of sitting waiting because I don't want to get involved in something and then Deuce turns up and then I've got to reset everything to get ready to help him out. That's assuming he does turn up, of course. It's not impossible that he won't. He might have forgotten. I'm amazed that they haven't hit me.
JJ_945_. A guest is quite early. I'm sorry, but I'm leaving. Bye. Have a nice day.
Okay, JJ, enjoy your birthday. Thanks for dropping in. Catch you another time. Take care. TTFN. So good afternoon to anyone that's there. I'm currently waiting for someone to join me before I get too involved because I'm going to be teaching, or hopefully assisting, in him using his new stick and flying a spit in DCS. Well, that's what I like to hear, dudes. Well, I suppose I could just take off and do a circuit just while I'm waiting for Deuce to turn up. Assuming he does, it could be that he's forgotten. So it's telling me that I have 2 viewers on Twitch. Would either of those viewers like me to talk through the process that I'm gonna go through to start the spit? Okay, well I'll just get going anyway.
Request rearming.
Copy. Rearming complete.
Just reset my nose down trim and take off. That's an enemy. He's quite a lot higher than me, so I've got to catch up. I'll need to climb, but that's going to reduce my speed, so I can't climb too quickly. I'm at full throttle at the moment as well, prop pitch fully fine, so I can't hold that for too long, but I need to catch up. These things certainly seem to be able to move. They are A20s. which is not an Axis aircraft, but unfortunately it's what had to be used for this mission. Probably start shooting at me in a minute. But that's a 109, I'll go for him. He's probably trying to head home. If anyone's watching on their phone, they probably won't even see that I've got a dot in front of me, which is a 109, which I'm closing on. Need to stay out of his mirror view if I can. So I'm staying low.
Brian Tatuini. Yo hi Bill, nice setup.
Hello Brian, I don't recognise that name, thank you. I don't recognise that name, so is this your first time watching and speaking on my stream? I'm glad I got that one after all that chasing.
Brian Tatuini. Yeah.
Oh well, hope you enjoy it. I don't normally fly and stream on a Sunday, to be honest. It's normally Friday nights and Saturday nights. I'm in UK, so it's 22:30 to 02:30 roughly that we fly and live stream. I fly with Laxor, but today I'm hoping I'll be joined by Deuce 434, who's just got the same setup as far as I'm aware, same setup as I have here, and he's after some pointers on using that setup, setting it up, controls, and flying the Spit in particular. He's going to get the Spit on trial to try it, so I'm quite hoping that he'll be able to join. Well, I've just expended some ammo, so that's a good excuse to have a go at another landing. I say have a go because in a Spitfire nothing's guaranteed.
Okay.
If you're going to be around, Brian, would you like me to talk through some of the Spitfire, or are you already a Spitfire pilot in DCS? But I can talk through some stuff if you're not aware, like start up, taxi, take off, landing, that sort of stuff. The airfield is dead ahead, just to the left of my sight screen.
Brian Tatuini. Okay, sure.
Right, well, as I come in, want to get closer, I'll open my canopy, which helps with a bit of drag to slow me down. But it's also a safety feature, because if I have a mishap on landing, the ground crew want to be able to just reach in and oink me out. They don't want to have to smash through a canopy necessarily to get to me. So I'll open the canopy, I'll put my prop pitch fully fine, put my gear down at about 140, put my flaps down in the region of 120 or less, and try to touch down sort of less than 100. If I can do that, that's all good. But in a Spitfire you haven't landed when your wheels touch. You really haven't. That's when the difficult part starts, controlling the Spit on the ground. There's 4 helicopters just docked below the horizon over there, and there's also some streaks on the ground which are tanks in a convoy which are heading towards the airfield.
Were you a real pilot?
No, sadly not. I have flown a couple of times, just fun flying lessons, but I was surprised that during those lessons I had control of the aircraft for definitely over 80% of the time, and that was really nice. My throttle is right back, open canopy. Notice the sound change, it's beautiful. This is a lovely engine sound, this really is. It's not the DCS one, it's one that I downloaded. Right, gear down. You'll hear it get louder as I get closer because of reflected sound off the runway. Nice touch. I thought I put my flaps down and I obviously didn't, and that completely threw me out. Oh damn it. I won't get repaired, I'll just get a new aircraft. Yeah, that proves I'm not a real pilot.
Is the Spit your favourite airplane?
Absolutely. Favourite airplane of all time, and it'll never be equalled because there'll never be a need for such an aircraft again. So yeah, it is my favourite aircraft of all time. It's beautiful. I'm not going to get repaired. That takes 3 minutes. I'll just spawn in and talk through the startup. Right, so first thing I need to do is make sure my brake is on. That's my brake. That brake applies to either wheel depending on how the rudder is set, and I'll talk about that in a minute. So brake is fully on and prop pitch fully fine. So prop pitch fully fine, brake is on. I'm now going to put my panel lights on because I just like to, and open these covers which offer the starter and booster for the engine to start. I'll put the magnetos on, the fuel pump, and open the fuel cock, which is this. I won't necessarily do it in that order, but that's the fuel cock.
My favourite airplane is the 51P.
P51 is a brilliant aircraft, absolutely. Yeah, I agree. And of course it's more stable, of course, because with a Spitfire, with the very close wheelbase, it's much more prone to rolling about, like the 109, much more prone to rolling about on landing and takeoff, whereas the P51, obviously the wheels are far more spread. They come down from the center of the wing instead of near the wing root, so it's more stable in that sense. It's easier not to mess it all up. Right, so I'll put on my panel lights, open the button covers, put on my magnetos. This is not necessarily the official correct order, but it works. It's okay. So magnetos are over there. I'll push my throttle forward just to operate a switch that's round the back there that you can't see, but the throttle pushes a switch and it turns on the various power things. It shows you your gear status, which of course is down at the moment. So right, so magnetos are on. I'll put the fuel pump on. You might hear it, but it's very quiet. I can't hear it. Fuel cock, as you see, I pointed out, it's the center screen now. Fuel cock is turned on. So now I can prime the engine, make sure that the brake is on, prime the engine, and push those two buttons at the same time, for which I use the delete and end keys on the keyboard. One of the very rare occasions that I touch my keyboard. That'll get it started. Once it's turning over and catching, I'll flick the fuel control lever, the mixture control lever forward, and we'll be running. And then I can do things like adjust my altimeter, and my nose down and rudder trims. So let's prime and get it started. Okay, crack the throttle a bit and start. Now if I didn't have the brake on, a little bit of throttle would have pulled me forward, which I don't want at this stage. So I'm going to adjust my altimeter and my two trims. I'm going to give it one division of nose down. So that's 0. That's one division of nose down. And now adjust my rudder so that the double D is just past the 12 o'clock. Very technical. Okay, I'm ready to taxi. Now, for taxiing, and the Spitfire doesn't have toe brakes. If I, on my rudder pedals that I'm using right now, as you can hear, if I tilt my toe forward, on a Mustang, it will operate the brake.
Very realistic sim game you have. What's the program / video game name?
Right, this is DCS, Digital Combat Simulator. Very accurate. Actually, as far as I'm aware, it is used by the military. So if I tilt my foot forward on the pedal, it does nothing. There's me tilting the foot forward. You've probably heard that, because the Spitfire doesn't have toe brakes. If I want to turn left, as I'm going to in a minute, I put the left rudder forward like that, right, left rudder, give it left rudder, and apply some brake that I need, and then that braking gets applied to the wheel, whichever wheel is favoured by the rudder. So in this case it's the left rudder, so when I apply braking, it puts braking on the left wheel. So let's taxi out. Brake is off. Bring up the revs to in the region of 13 or 1400, something like that. We're moving, so my left rudder is forward, applying some braking, putting braking on the left wheel. And it's like a boat. Once you start it moving, you then have to counteract it to stop it from moving around in that direction. Brake is fully off. And now I'm going to dance on the pedals a little bit and use it's a mixture between rudder pedals, throttle and brake when you're taxiing. It's very unintuitive, not comfortable at all, but it's the way a Spit actually works. If you get yourself in a Mark 9 Spitfire, having mastered this one, you'll be able to certainly start up the Mark 9 Spit, and you should be able to taxi. Now, of course, taking off and landing are a little bit more effort, a bit more experience. Went a bit heavy on the throttle then. Turning right onto the runway. I'll pose a question which I like to pose for everybody, because most people don't know, and I find it interesting. Two things actually. Right, I put the brake on. First thing is, there are 3 blobs just there. Have you any idea what they were before? I didn't know. I know now, but I didn't know what they were. I'll show you again. Those 3 blobs just there. And if I set the lighting switches correctly, first of all, I'll put my navigation lights. You'll see there's no wingtip lights at the moment, but if I flick that switch, we've got the port light there and the starboard light there. But now that I've put those switches like that, this here becomes a Morse code key. So what I can do, if I jump out to show you, I have to use the M key on my keyboard, but I'll show you. I'll jump out. And the whole point of that is that if I was to lose my radio, if it got shot up, I could communicate with the rest of the section by using Morse code. So you're not completely without communication if your radio gets shot up. And this engine sound is beautiful. Let's say it's one that I downloaded for free, as it happens. It's really good. So yeah, when you land, you hear the engine noise get louder because it's reflected off the runway. By the way, what part of the planet are you on, Brian? Roughly what country,
Brian,
you know?
Tatooine. Very cool.
It is. It's very cool. Did you have a think about what those blobs might be, or shall I just explain? another nice touch is if I jump back in the plane, you'll see that the pilot is looking forward at the moment. If I jump in the plane and turn my head to the right and jump out, you see the pilot is looking to the right. He gradually moves his head back, but he was looking to the right as I was when I was in cockpit. I've noticed at least one person has gone, so I'll just remind anyone that goes, if you just let me know you're going so that I don't end up talking to myself. So, would you like me to explain about the process for takeoff in a spit?
Brian Tatuini. Yes.
Okay, well with the spit, I'll go through it all before I do it. To take off, it's brake off. At the moment you can see the brake is on, so it'll be brake off. I'll put it back on just in case I don't want to roll forward. And then when I throttle up, it's stick back, full right aileron, throttle up, and then as I'm gaining speed and getting the boost, the throttle to about 8, I'm gradually going to let the stick come forward to its normal position, and the nose will drop, and at around about 80-90 miles an hour I will rotate a bit so that the aircraft lifts off, and then I'll bring the gear up so you'll see the indicator change, pull up the gear, and then I'll adjust my prop pitch, I'll adjust my trim, my nose down trim, from one division nose down to one division of nose up. Then I can close my canopy if I want, but to be honest it sounds lovely with the canopy open, so but I will do it just to show the difference. Right, so I'll just do all that now without talking, because it does need a bit of thought. So I'll just take a brake off and away we go. Gear going up. I've adjusted my trim to one division of nose up. Now I'll adjust my RPM for 2000, like using my prop pitch, adjust to 2700. I'll close the canopy so you can hear the difference. It still sounds good, but with the canopy open it's lovely. So there we are, canopy's closed. There are some static targets down there, soft targets that I can attack. I use it for testing, to be honest. It's good to make sure that everything's working okay. So I'll go and attack those. I'll put my illuminated sight on. And I'll make my guns ready. That little pip at the top of the stick there. And I'll attack those ground units, soft targets, which are nicely lined up for me. Until I shoot at them, then they will disperse.
I don't understand, but it's interesting.
Hello, bang bang. Welcome. So I've got most of those trucks. If I was to get all of them, what happens is that the mission is designed that they respawn. So you've always got something like just there that never goes away. It'll always respawn once they're all done. There's also the bridge round about centre of the picture now. There's a bridge next, because you've got a railway and a road, so you've got bridges for both. And the bridge for the road has...
Bill, what happened to your Twitch channel? Why is it a new name and logo?
Liquidal. Oh, you got me there. I don't really know what you mean. I'll have to check that out in a minute. Yeah, so there's tanks on the bridge which are quite dangerous for us. So I'm going to come from the other end and attack those tanks on the bridge. Sometimes I can get a number of them. Sometimes I just get shot down. So my Twitch channel is the new name and logo. Is it? I'll have to take a look later. I certainly can't do it now, but I'll have to take a look later, see what you mean. So those tanks are now centre picture. There's a train heading towards that train bridge, and the tanks are just on the other side, by the side of the road, on the road that goes over the bridge. Make a turn and let's go for them.
Wait, NVO, it was your other man with the heli.
Oh, Laxor flies choppers, yeah. Look, they're shooting at me already. Don't look good. Well, I got a few of them, but they hit me. Engine doesn't sound very good. It's joggling about, running rough, so it's out of balance. I need to get back to base. I've got 3 of them out of the 4, so that's not bad. Okay, I'm RTB. If my engine holds up, which it might not. There's a taxiway in front of me, so I might even have to land on the taxiway if the engine fails. Engine's in a mess.
Is there an in failure? Inks.
Yes, it can have. You can have random failures occur if you want.
Bang bang Sudrajat. Or you got attacked.
Yeah, I mean, my engine's about to cut out, I think, because those ground units on the bridge hit my engine.
Bang bang Sudrajat. So pushing the throttle so hard equals not good.
Well, you have to be careful how much throttle you use because you'll just burn the engine out, but in my case it's just bullets didn't do the engine any good. Might have got away with it. That wasn't a bad landing at all under any circumstances. But now the fun begins. I have to fight to control the aircraft on the ground. Once the wheels are down, that's not when you've landed. You have only landed when you manage to stop safely. Wings are shot up. Let's move to one side of the runway. Engine's definitely in a mess. I forgot to open the canopy in my, I won't say panic, but in my haste, I forgot to open the canopy. Okay, I'm going to get repaired on this occasion,
Right,
so brake fully on.
It said War Thunder in the title. Are you going to play War Thunder today?
No, I should change that probably, because I don't really do War Thunder now. War Thunder, I think, outgrew itself, and it became not as good as it used to be in the past. But DCS it's not a game. DCS is a flight sim. War Thunder is a game. DCS is a flight sim. So I play I almost exclusively fly in DCS now. But I just had it written like that because it could be either, and I didn't want to manually swap it every time depending on what I was flying in, so I just left it saying it's this or that. But I could probably just take out the War Thunder part of that now, to be honest.
Brian Tatuini. Okay.
Right, I've stopped the engine, get repaired. They don't like working on an engine when it's still running. And it seized as I cut the fuel off. It seized up anyway. Okay, let's see if voice attack is working, and I'll use voice attack to get repaired. I'll explain voice attack if you don't already know it. There it is. I just said comms and it's brought up on the top right. It's brought up the menu. I'll now say F8 and then I'll say F3.
You're sorry, Bill, about worrying you about getting hacked, lol.
Okay, not to worry, sir. It's good that you're thinking and on the ball. Right, I'll go to the ground crew, then I'll go to request a repair.
Request repair. Copy.
I'll now go and get rearmed.
I don't know about this, but which one feel fictional? War Thunder air resistance or DCS air resistance?
Oh well, bang bang. I think
bang bang Sudrajat. I never tried DCS.
In general, DCS is just a far more accurate flying simulator. It is accurate, whereas War Thunder, they have to adjust certain things just to keep the competitiveness up. They nerfed the Spitfire, so that it wasn't quite so good, not as good as reality, because other players were going against the Spitfire and they couldn't deal with it. So they evened the field up by nerfing the aircraft, which is a bit of a pity. There you go. Lots of people complained about it, but it's a game.
Bang bang Sudrajat. Oh.
Right, I'll get rearmed. Are you folks aware of voice attack, by the way? Very good. It's a free program. Very good.
Request rearming. Unable to comply.
Oh, that's because they're still repairing me. I've obviously got leaks. If I've got a fuel leak, they won't want to be resupplying me with bullets. You can just see from the center of the fuselage underneath there's a little stream of something coming down. There's probably a fuel leak. So they don't want to start replacing armament whilst there's a fuel leak there. That'd be a bit too dodgy, so they don't do that. I have to wait until the repair has taken place, then I can get rearmed. In the meantime, I can bring my flaps up, which have got stuck. Look.
I remember when I was in a FW-190 and then I had to do a dogfight with a Spitfire. 15 seconds later I was in the hangar.
Yeah, well, I mean, a 190 it's a boom and zoomer, isn't it? Whereas the Spitfire is a turner. So that's kind of to be expected, but not necessarily. I mean, if the guy in the 190 is careful enough and quick enough, he can take the Spit out.
In War Thunder Quiddle.
Yeah, I think he means in War Thunder. Yeah.
El Quiddle. Yeah.
Yeah. Look, my flaps are stuck halfway. You can't set them halfway, so that's part of the failure. They got stuck. You can see the leak at the moment dripping down there from the engine. All repaired. I'll put my flaps up and see if they go all the way up proper. and see if they deploy fully. No, there's a fault. That's a bug with DCS. I've not been completely repaired, and this is something that Laxor has pointed out, that sometimes the repair isn't complete. There'll be something that's not quite right, and in this case, those flaps, I'll respawn and you'll see those flaps are actually like air brakes. They flip right down to about 86, nearly 90 degrees, whereas that isn't. So they're clearly stuck, and I think they're stuck because of the because of a bug in the repair system of DCS, or at least on this version, because we're using the beta version here. It is preferable for us. I'm going to respawn, get another aircraft, and go through the startup process and demonstrate those flaps. If you look at those flaps now, the way they are, that, as far as the aircraft is concerned, at the moment is full flaps, but it's not. You look at those flaps when I'm in the hangar, you'll see that they are much further down. Not in the hangar, on the parking bay. Right, so the first thing I'll do is jump out and show you those flaps. Now look at that. They are like 90 degrees, aren't they? And that wasn't happening previously after my repair. So the repair wasn't comprehensive for some reason. So I'll put my flaps up because I don't want them for takeoff. Jump back in the aircraft and go from a startup process. I see there's a couple of viewers there now, so would anyone like me to talk through the startup? I'll give that a few seconds for you to reply, because I know there's a delay which I have no control over. So I'll let you come back to me, let me know if you want me to talk through the startup, etc. I was hoping that Deuce would
Brian
join us.
Yeah.
Is that a yeah? Is that a yeah to actually for me to talk through the startup, Brian? Yeah, I'll take it. That's a yeah. Talk through startup. Okay, well actually I might as well just go ahead and talk through the startup.
All I remember is when starting up the E9 push the fuel minster.
Fuel minster mixture. Yeah. I'll talk through it anyway. Right, so the first thing I have to do is make sure that my brake is on. Otherwise, if the engine starts up with any revs, it will pull the aircraft forward. So brake fully on. That's of a Spitfire. You only get one brake lever. You don't have toe brakes on a Spit. And then make sure the prop pitch is fully fine, fully forward. Okay, now I like to put my panel lights on. Then open up the covers for the starter and booster buttons. And turn on the magnetos. I also need my engine, my fuel pump on. You probably won't hear it, but I'll put it on. Yeah, I can't even hear it. But it's on. And turn on my fuel cock, which is currently off. Right, so now I can prime it. I've got magnetos, I've got fuel. I'm ready to go. I'm going to prime it. I'll give it 5 pumps. And I now need to press those 2 buttons at the same time, for which I'll use the delete and end keys on my keyboard. Once the engine is turning over nicely and it starts to catch, I'll flick the mixture lever forward, which I've got another button at the back for. Flick that forward and I'll be running. Then I can adjust my altimeter and my nose down trim and my rudder trim. So let's do that. First, crack the throttle. Double check brake is on and start. Adjust altimeter. Adjust nose down. I'm going to give it 1 division of nose down. There's neutral. That's 1 division of nose down. Now I'll adjust my rudder trim, just so that the double Ds are beyond the 12 o'clock mark. I'm now ready to taxi. If I want to taxi, to turn left.
Is MFS more realist than DCS, or is DCS more realist?
That's difficult to say. I think they've both got their qualities, but MSFS, like the Microsoft 2020, that certainly on the Spitfire is not so realistic in at least one way. You can't set up non-toe braking, so I can't set it up so that the braking applies to whichever wheel is favoured by the rudder. You can't seem to do that in MSFS. So, but in other ways it's very accurate. I'm sure that I definitely prefer DCS. I mean, for a start, you don't get any guns in MSFS, so I quite like to go around and shoot things up. Okay, I'll put the pilot in place, because I feel this stick moving ghostly on its own is not right, so I would see a hand on it, so I'll put it on.
Fair enough.
The beauty, of course, with MSFS is that you can, if your local town is listed in the list of towns that they have that are fully covered by Google satellite images, you can fly over your own local town. You have to load it in. Fly over your own local town and see all the sites, and they're not just like made up. They are actually from Google. They are satellite images. It's like flying high in Google Streets. It's really good. So that's something that we can't do here. So they each have their own different advantages, I guess. Okay, so to turn left, it's left foot forward and apply some brake. So if I take the brake off, I shouldn't move forward because I've only got a few revs. So I'll put my left foot forward and apply some braking to put braking on the left wheel. So I'll throttle up to round about 13 or 1400 revs here. See how we go. Right, we're rolling. Left foot forward, apply some braking on the left wheel. I should take my hand off the throttle really, because there's a tendency to increase throttle accidentally, and we don't need to do that. Just that my push to talk is on the throttle, so
Whittle. +2 of Mount Fave planes in MSFS is TEH Boeing 777 to 200 and the Airbus A330.
I'll have to read that. I'll have to read that, look, it'll hold on. +2 of MT. All right, okay. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be flying those. They don't hold my interest, although of course they're far more complex on the inside of, you know, in the cockpit. It doesn't hold my interest.
That sounded when Ari was reading it.
Oh yeah, well I was I definitely I like piston engines. I like the old warbirds. Those are the things that have me hooked.
I'm going now, bye guys.
Okay, thanks for letting us know, Brian. Take care. Hope to catch you again sometime. TTFN.
Whittle. Bye.
That was very sloppy of me, but never mind. So easy to lose concentration, and so the way the Spitfire taxis with the throttle, brake and rudder pedals is not intuitive. It's most uncomfortable. You can't take your eye off the ball. Okay, brake is now fully on. I'll try to adjust my track IR so that you can see a bit more of what I'm doing with the pedals. Right, the pedals are a bit more in view now. So takeoff is dance on the rudder pedals all the way until you manage to get your gear up. Which I've already been through earlier on. Brake off, throttle up.
Whittle. When MSFS 2024 is coming out, I think I might get and play it. BC it has a career mode in it.
Yep. Oh, of course, bear in mind that I use push to talk, so I can't respond immediately. I have to be able to get my hand on the push to talk button. But let's have a look. That's on 24. Okay, yeah, that's good. Enjoy.
Whittle. I'm just hoping the career mode it realist with costing money to park, fuel repairs etc.
Yeah, I wouldn't know. They're all dead. It's difficult to say whether they're dead because they respawn. They respawn a new vehicle on a dead patch, and it's difficult to see which ones are dead and which ones are respawned.
Oh, Quiddle. But if there are modes I would pick easy BC. It would be my first time playing a flight game.
I'm not sure. No, I'm not sure on that. Yeah, I mean, there is one easy aspect is you can just tell it to start up without going through all the process of pushing buttons and pulling levers. You can tell it to just start up. It's probably something like Control E or something like that. I don't know, but I don't know if there's other modes. I think there might be actually. You'd have to check that out. I was hoping Deuce would get to here, but it looks as though he's not going to now, I would say. What's the time? It's gone 4 o'clock. I've been here for some time and he hasn't got here, so perhaps he's not going to get here. Pity. That would have been good. Right, I'll make another landing. It's all good practice.
Oh, Quiddle. Plus I have one question: is Steamworks needed?
Needed for what? That looks like a question. You're asking me if Steamworks are needed. For what?
Oh, Quiddle. Like for downloading things and updating thing BC, I deleted it by accident.
Well, I don't use Steam, so I can't really say much about that one. I do know that there are aircraft that you can get in DCS that are not Steam compatible. So you'd have to check that out if ever you were to use DCS. I'm not damaged. I don't need to get repaired. I can just get rearmed.
Quiddle. Plus I somehow found a way to reinstall it BC when I look up what it was for. It said it needed 4 games to download and overall for Steam to work right.
Yeah, yeah, may well
I think
be.
Steam is working with me again.
Well, that's good. If you use it, you need it to be working. I say I don't need Steam at all, so I don't know really anything about that. You notice I used voice attack again to get the comms menu and to ask to be rearmed. Very useful little program, doesn't cost anything initially. I mean, it needn't cost anything at all ever. If you get the free version of voice attack, you get one profile for which you can have 20 commands, I think, voice commands. But if you pay for it, as I did, it's only probably 9 quid, maybe 10 euros, whatever. And it's a really good little program. Sadly, it doesn't always. It's sometimes a bit temperamental, but generally speaking, well worth having. I'm rearmed. I can now adjust my nose down trim and take off again. Quick recheck, make sure my flaps are not down, which they're not. Make sure I've got my nose down trim correct, which I have. So now brake off and away I can go. There's a lone 109 up there, so perhaps I'll have a go, see if I can get him. Can't actually see him yet. Oh, there he is. I don't. Anyone looking on a phone, as I said before, probably won't see it. It's about 1 pixel, so but I can see him. He's just outside of my sight, my ring sight. There he is. He's just come into my illuminated sight area. I'll throttle up and climb for him. Close my canopy to help. I suspect this 109 is passive. I don't think he's going to shoot back at me. The loner's like this, and there's a set of 4 that are in this mission that also are all passive. So they're just target practice and air combat practice, because they will dodge and weave. They won't fire back. Now I've lost viz on him. He'll come back into view. There he is, in front of a grey cloud. I don't know if he's visible to you guys, but he's now a black dot in front of a white cloud. I want to stay below so that he can't see me in his mirror. Except he was coming towards me, not going away. Now I've got to re-find him. I'm bad at this. There he is. Oh, I just blacked out. Oh, briefly. Well, he's down.
Oh, Whittle. Here, Bill, I might go now and play with my fire and I'll see you later, bye.
Okay, well, I won't be on later, but I'll be on. I'll be flying again on Friday of the coming week, and then Saturday.
That's fine, I'll see you on Friday.
Roger that, look at all. Take care. TTFN. I've got to be careful of these ground units down below as well. Try and fly between them so they don't get me. If I can get Viz on that A20, I'll have a go at him. Because I know his direction, but I don't know his altitude. I could click on it on the map, but that's not a wise thing for me to do at the moment. There he is, I think. Throttling up. And of course I could zoom in like this, but that wasn't a facility that they had in the Spitfire. You couldn't just zoom in. And I did actually make a phone call to find out if they were issued with binoculars, but some people apparently took them, but they weren't an issue. Might start firing at me in a minute. Out of ammo. Okay, anyone there? I'm gonna land now. I'll probably quit there because I haven't seen Deuce. Perhaps he forgot.
Coming to you fast.
I just quit my aircraft, so that message is perhaps a bit delayed. Yeah, I'm likely to not carry on much now. I was waiting for Deuce because I was going to show him around the throttle and stick that he has and the Spitfire, but he didn't manage to get him. He may well have just forgotten. Actually, MX. Oh, dang. Yeah, the thing is, I'm not seeing you listed with an aircraft. On the role selection screen, you're not there.
Mlaxx. I'm on red.
Ah, on red. Whoa. Yeah, a red F-16. Okay. So this was an unusual fly out for me today. It was only so that I could, in theory, give some assistance to. Why do I have trouble remembering his name? That's so bad. Deuce. I was only going to be giving assistance to Deuce with his stick and showing him around the Spitfire. So it's unusual. I don't need to on a Sunday. So my next thing out will be, unless I get some kind of message in some way from Deuce, the next time will be Friday. Yeah, I probably won't be flying any more this afternoon that I know of. I'm just going to leave it running for a second, just on the last chance hopes that Deuce gets there, but I don't think he will now. So for the moment, I'm on a comfort break. I'll be back.
Mlaxx. I have to hope to you later. Mlaxx. I have to go.
Okay, if you're still there, Amlax. Okay, yeah, nice that you popped in anyway, and maybe catch you next Friday or so. TTFN. Okay, just in case the figure 1 refers only to doesn't only refer to a bot but to a person. I'm going to close the stream now. Thanks for being there. Catch you again another time. TTFN.